Hello? Okay.
Hey, we are live. Good evening to everyone. Thank you for being so patient, waiting for us. We apologize for being a little bit behind schedule tonight, but we greatly appreciate your attendance tonight. I would like to bring the January 10th, 2019 Board of Education meeting to order, and we will begin with the invocation. Mr. Sides.
Thank you, Ms. Merrill. And for tonight's invocation, our chaplain, the Reverend Vic Weaver.
Good evening. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you, and we come to you in the name that is above every name, the name of Jesus, and we ask you that you would just bless us tonight as you have blessed us with a new year, with another time that we can come and we can sit and talk about and decide things that are best for our students, our staff, and our county. We thank you for that opportunity and just ask that you would continue to bless us throughout this year and make it the best year we have had to date. Father, we ask now that you would just lead, guide, and direct us and help us always to listen, follow, and obey your directing. And we thank you for what you're going to do in advance, and we ask it now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Vic Weaver. We appreciate your attendance from the Union County Sheriff Office. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our junior ROTC from the Monroe High School. We thank you so much for
Okay, board, we need to have approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay, we will now have the John H. Crowder Service Award presented by Ms. Candace Sturdivant. Board members, if you will please rise and join me at the front.
the latest young Crowder spent more than 30 serving children. As a living tribute to his legacy, the Union County Board of Education awards John H. Crowder Service Award every month to an outstanding high school student who's making a difference in their school and community. Students who receive this award are not only academically successful, but also have established history in community service. Tonight, we award the John H. Crowder Service Award to a very special student from Ohio. Senior and designate Brian is dedication, a love for learning, a passion for service to others, vision, being an individual of. She is currently ranked 6th senior class and member of the Minor High School. Student Government Association, Red Ox Student Leadership Team, National Honor Society, as well as Union County Minor Branch of the NAACP. He has also completed 89 hours of community service with HRM, where she often spends her time assisting staff in the women and children and helping patients transport from. Throughout the remainder of her senior year, she plans to use her academic strength, talent, this higher Red Hawk family, where to create an atmosphere of high expectations and accountability for students.
Good evening. The Union County Public Schools Employee of the Month Award recognizes employees in a non-teacher, non-certified positions. It was created to honor those who have exemplary work and performance, those who promote positive morale, or possibly those who demonstrate initiatives and creativity that improve the operating efficiency of their department or district. Individuals can be nominated based on their performance, their customer service, or an individual incident that merits commendation. Our January recipient is Rosemary Commits, the EC Preschool Data Manager. Director of Exceptional Children's Program, Dr. Boki Nolan, will now come forward to recognize Rosemary for her accomplishments.
Good evening. Many families have their first contact with UCPS through Rosemary Commits. Her primary responsibility is keeping track of information that comes through the EC Preschool Assessment Center, and she does that in an organized, professional, and cheerful manner. Beyond keeping data, Rosemary brings us a spirit of deep caring to families, as well as a commitment to making sure the preschool department works together as a team. She talks with compassion to parents who have concerns about their child's development, and she soothes children after a testing session with a lollipop from her desk drawer. Physician offices, early intervention specialists, private therapy providers, and early childhood professionals know that they can call Rosemary and she will point them in the right direction. Rosemary also attends a variety of EC staff development opportunities for additional guidance on how to support families and children. She's attended a child care licensing boot camp, a preschool pyramid model coaching orientation session, and she's also joined the site-based committee there at Walter Bickett Education Center to keep the assessment center informed of campus activities. As Rosemary seeks to do for others, she is representing UCPS to the community in a way that showcases her strong commitment to families, and she always makes sure that she leaves a good first impression. I will now read the Employee of the Month proclamation from the Board of Education and Dr. Houlihan. Whereas the Union County Board of Education values the hard work of each employee within the district. Whereas performance is an essential part of the district operations. Whereas Rosemary Commits exemplifies the performance, dedication, and teamwork essential to the success of the district and its students. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Education for Union County Public Schools, and Dr. Andrew G. Houlihan, Superintendent, hereby proclaim Rosemary Commits as the Employee of the Month for the month of January 2019.
Every year, the North Carolina Council of Teachers of Mathematics recognizes and rewards individuals and groups who have made an outstanding and noteworthy contribution to math education. The organization recently recognized the North Carolina Collaborative Mathematics Learning, which is a group of educators that includes Monroe High School instructional coach Chad Broom and Parkwood High School math teacher Ann Milliken, with its 2018 Innovator Award. The North Carolina Collaborative of Mathematics Learning was praised for coming together to produce statewide recommendations for utilizing specific math concepts and standards. The collaborative recognized Marion and Chad for being invaluable partners whose leadership, expertise, passion, and commitment to the teachers and students in the state led to the collaborative's success. Congratulations, Marion Milliken and Chad Broom. Thank you.
I'll tell you about that.
Good evening. Tonight, we're also honored to recognize our outstanding athletes who have recently won state championships. Will Marvin Ridge High tennis coach Julie Van Olden please come forward to recognize your student athletes?
Hello, I'm Julie Van Olden from Marvin Ridge Tennis, and tonight I would like to announce Marvin Ridge High School athletes Ella Imhoff and Sophie Imhoff, who won the 3A doubles championship this year. Guys are welcome to the
I'm Rick Spencer, the cross-country coach at Weddington High School, and I'd like to recognize our athletes who won the state 3A title this year and were ranked in the top 25 nationally. This is Carson Mann, Jake Toomey, Kyle Durham, Jackson O'Hara, and Nate Jaster.
Good evening. My name is Andy Capone. I'm the head football coach at Weddington High School. Tonight, I'm honored to recognize the Weddington High School football team who won the 2018 3AA state championship. Jay Toronto, Eamon Murphy, Whitner Litton, Lucas Rogers, Noah Niemeyer, Chaston Jordan, Alec Mock, Joe Zavostowski, Ronnie Watterson, Nick Adderholt, Jake Wallace, Mark Rinaldi, Bradley Moorhead, Taggart Houghton, Sam Baldwin, Alex McLaughlin, Chris Bernhard, Zach Rita, Landon Backey, Dante Castiola, Justin Muckleveen, Jalen Newman, Jonathan Lowry, Jackson McLean, Cameron Bost, Matthew Moonen, Kyle Parsons, Trey Osbrooks, and Trevor Kowalski.
Dr. Houlihan, Board of Education, that concludes our recognitions for tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, everyone, the true and the faithful remain. Thank you. We are now going to move to public comments. 30 minutes has been allotted for public comments. Community members wishing to speak during public comments should state their name, address, phone number prior to beginning their comments. The board will not hear in open session complaints about performance of school personnel, personnel issues, or confidential student matters. Individuals may address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes. Any person who is appointed representative for a group may address the board for 5 minutes. Should a community member wish to seek information or share items with the board that cannot be shared during public comments, our staff are available to address your concerns or provide information. Dr. Chris Barnes, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Dr. Brad Breedlove, Chief Academic Officer. And Jared McCraw, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, are here to assist. The first person we have is, forgive me, Neftali Ole Bando. I tried. So you're up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Neftali Ole Bando. I have 2 children in the Union County Public School System, in which I am very fortunate to have them in. The reason for me being here is primarily in the interest of their education. I recently received a letter, and in it, it stated that there was a substitute that's going to take place of the current teacher that was there. Now, just for a peace of mind, I wanted to know if it was public record to know the certifications that qualify that substitute teacher or anyone to teach 5th grade core math. The subject strands are extremely difficult. I just wanted to know before I communicated with anyone else. Thank you.
We'll now have Claudius Sandoval.
Good evening. My name is Claudia Sandoval. I live at 202 Abbotsford Court, Waxhaw, North Carolina. My phone number is 704-993-6854. I'm a parent of 3 UCPS students, twin girls in the 10th grade and a son in kindergarten. I want to thank the board and Dr. Houlihan for your time and for your continued support of the social emotional learning and safety of our children. Today, I want to share a great opportunity to empower youth to be upstanders who look out for one another and create a safe, supportive school culture. Say Something Week is coming up February 25th through March 1st, and I respectfully request that you bring this important campaign to UCPS. Say Something teaches students in grades 6 through 12 how to look for warning signs and signals, especially in social media, from individuals who may want to hurt themselves or others, and to say something to a trusted adult to get them help. The No Cause program is one of 4 Sandy Hook's Promises Know the Signs programs and is based on research conducted by Dr. Dewey Cornell and Dr. Reed Malloy, 2 leading national experts in threat assessment and intervention. Sandy Hook Promise is a nonprofit organization led by several family members who lost loved ones in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting on December 14th, 2012. Their mission is to prevent gun violence before it happens by teaching youth and adults how to recognize the signs and get help for individuals who may be at risk of hurting themselves or others. When it comes to violence, suicide, and fear-inducing threats, most are known by at least one other individual before the incident takes place. In fact, 70% of people who complete suicide tell someone of their plans or give some other warning sign. Additionally, most mass shootings are planned for at least 6 months. And in 4 out of 5 school shootings, at least one other person had knowledge of the attacker's plans but failed to report it. Having daughters who survived the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, I am a passionate advocate for school safety. I know children are afraid to speak out because they think they will be considered a snitch or be alienated. This is why Say Something teaches children the difference between telling on someone and saying something to get them help. Caring for each other is a value promoted not just by UCPS, but by our faith, families, and community. During Say Something Week, schools and youth organizations nationwide will raise awareness of the power young people have to prevent tragedy through student trainings, community events, public proclamations, contests, and school awards. By building a culture of looking out for one another and reporting possible threats of violence when someone sees, reads, or hears something, entire communities will become safer and lives will be saved. Last year, the Weddington Middle School Student Council successfully brought Say Something activities to the school, and I ask that this year the district participate in the National Say Something Week. I have with me more information for you guys right on time and how you can sign up, and I thank you for considering this campaign and for promoting school safety. Thank you.
Okay, we will now have Rosemary Calvoni.
Good evening. My name is Rosemary Calvoni. I live at 1206 Applegate Parkway in Waxhaw. My number is 631-921-8484. I am here on behalf of Voices for Learning, which I did speak about at the November meeting. And just to tag on to what was just said, just since the last meeting, I know of 2 attempted suicides in the Union County District, and one unfortunate girl who took her life in Charlotte. So suicide really is such a crisis. But I do want to say thank you to the Board of Ed for implementing a suicide prevention training program. I did read your December newsletter, and I want to say thank you. I know that's probably been in the works for a very long time. And boy, is that an integral part of the right step in the right direction. But what I also want to talk about is, again, the root cause of the mental health crisis that really does plague our society today. At one point, I didn't think there were schools that specialized here to provide children that needed extra supports that maybe the public schools couldn't provide. And I've learned that there are such schools called Eckerd Connect. There is one in Candor and there is one in Boomer. The sad part is that the only way for children to access that school is if they're involved in the juvenile justice system. Evidence shows that 75% of the children involved in the juvenile justice system are children with special needs, a mental illness, a learning disability, or some other unknown related cause. And Eckerd Connect's model is to educate these children so that they can meet the goals on their IEPs, but everyone at the school is crisis intervention certified. So they don't just help the child learn, they get to the root of what's causing the problem in the first place. So they know how to de-escalate situations without any police involvement. The problem is that it's a short-term program. It's a reactive program because children have been in trouble with the law. And these children ultimately come back into the same society that they left. So it's a short-term fix. We need a proactive fix so that these children can be identified at a young age, realize that the public school we have cannot provide these children with all of the supports that they may need, and have these schools locally. In New York, they're called BOCES, Board of Cooperative Education Services, and they're specially trained individuals that know how to handle children with a lot of disabilities have behavioral issues, but there are always a root cause to that. And I was so happy to learn that this model does exist, except it's backwards. We need it locally, so children don't have to be separated from their families for such long periods of times, because it's a 4 to 9 month program. So if we could reverse this school pipeline to prison that we have going on and have these children identified, it will reduce school violence, because we will be getting to the root cause of the mental issue that's happening in the first place, and help these children get the education that they need. So I'm thrilled to know that the model is here in North Carolina, but we need it here locally so that children can get access to these programs, and not have to go through the juvenile justice system to get it. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll have Tracy Tozier. We debated whether it was an L or Z.
Thanks. Sorry, I write like a cat, and this doesn't help. So, ladies and gentlemen of the board, administrators, teachers, students, and parents, my name is Tracy Lyons Tozier, and I am a vice president of the board of directors of Voices for Learning. My colleague, Rosemary Calvo, recently introduced our organization, which focuses on helping families of students with learning differences. My remarks today come from both a personal and a professional perspective. I am a clinical social worker and have been a certified substance abuse counselor. I've worked in psychiatric hospitals, outpatient therapy, behavior therapy, and juvenile court settings. Currently, I am an education consultant and advocate in private practice. I have raised 2 successful children who both have learning differences and mental health issues. My daughter is 21 years old and is a junior at UCLA. She's majoring in microbiology, immunology, and molecular genetics, something I almost can't say, much less figure out what it is. She has dyslexia, dysgraphia, anxiety, and depression. My son is 18 years old and a senior at Trinity Christian Prep. He's a gifted musician who plays alto sax and baritone sax at the highest levels of the Jazz Arts Initiative. He's been accepted to play in the band in the Honors Performance Series at both Carnegie Hall and the Sydney Opera House in 2019. My only niece and nephew in the world both attend Porter Ridge Middle School. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say my address and phone number. It is listed. Do you want me to say them? Okay, thank you. Rosemary has just addressed some very important aspects of how the Union County Public School District is working to better assess and meet the needs of students who may be at risk for suicide. She presented some options for schools with therapeutic components. I would like to expand on her remarks and offer another option that could help reach students before they find themselves in crisis. The Suicide Intervention Training Workshop, attended by 40 counselors, nurses, therapists, and language interpreters, was no doubt very helpful in standardizing the protocols for assessment and intervention with students who are already at a critical place with depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts or behaviors. But my question to you all is this: who is most likely to know when a child is in distress? Is it their teachers, a school psychologist or social worker, even a parent? Or is it their best friend, their lab partner in biology class, or a member of their sports team or their social club?
Kids are often sensitive to every mood, problem, or drama that their friends experience. Some little budding social workers can even perceive differences or changes in the moods and behaviors of the loners or the kids who are on the fringes of school life. It can be difficult at times to know what types of comments, social media posts, or behaviors should be brought to the attention of adults. It can also be hard to know which adults will listen and how they will help, or if their help will really help. There are a number of fairly inexpensive peer support groups for suicide prevention. One has already been mentioned tonight. Another one, Sources of Strength, has just been implemented in 2 schools in CMS. Huff High School and Providence High have begun to train kids to help their peers with some adult support. The mission of Sources of Strength is to provide the highest quality, evidence-based prevention for suicide, violence, bullying, and substance abuse prevention by training, supporting, and empowering both peer leaders and caring adults to impact kids' worlds through the power of connection, hope, and strength. This is not a one-time training type of program, but an ongoing comprehensive wellness initiative implemented most often in middle school or high school. According to their website, the base level costs are around $5,000 per team, and there's usually 1 team per school. But there is a grant writing packet available on their website for school districts to use to help obtain funding. The program is often initiated as a 3 to 6 month long project, but it's designed to develop into a multi-year system of peer and adult support. Sources of Strength staff provide technical and program support, templates for multimedia public service ad campaigns, reading structure and topics, and how to use messages of hope, strength, and help instead of shock, trauma, or sad messaging. Every group is required to provide honor and recognition events to the peer leader teams. Evaluation tools are provided. I encourage the board to learn more on the website, www.sourcesofstrength.org. One additional suggestion I would make would be to contact the family and initiate the pilot programs for Sources of Strength at Porter Ridge Middle and High School in honor of Ash Hafner, a 16-year-old from Porter Ridge High who is a transgender youth who killed herself in 2015, and in honor of her mother, April Quick. Thank you for your time and your willingness to be proactive in improving the mental health of the children in Union County. Thank you.
That concludes public comments, and we will go now to open session meeting minutes for December 3rd and December 4th.
I move that we approve the open session meeting minutes from December 3rd and December 4th, 2018.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, board members. Thank you, Ms. Huntill. Okay, we now have the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I do have one quick question about the consent agenda. On gifts and donations, it has the COPS grant on there. And we'll vote on that later for the MOU. Do we need to do that before or after?
I would think that we have to approve it in 2 places. One is a gift because it's a grant, and the other just as a whole. But we can make that consent agenda, or we can pull it off and put it in the same place as the.
Okay, I didn't know if.
Can we pull it off now, Michelle, or no? Can we move to amend?
The problem is that one line on the entire gifts and bequests memo.
That's right. I mean,
we can amend the memo. I can replace it with one without it if you'd like.
I guess does the MOU need to be done beforehand?
I don't think so. I mean, we can do it if it doesn't pass at the end, then that part doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, it's somewhat contingent on approval of item 13. Yeah. So okay. I think it's okay to approve it and then
Okay.
I agree. I agree. Sorry. I think if 13 for some reason doesn't pass, then that would be eliminated from the gifts and donations line item.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are there any other questions on consent before we go forward? Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, okay, motion passes 8-0. That brings us to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to say welcome back and Happy New Year to all of our parents, students, staff members in our community. We all hope that you had a great winter break and had time to spend with your loved ones and family. And as we enter the second semester coming up here, I just want to give a quick plug and a quick shout out to all of our teachers and building leaders and ask everyone to just hang tough. We got a pretty long stretch between now and spring break, barring any winter weather. So which we don't even want to get to that yet. But we just wanted to say welcome back and let's finish off the school year even better than we started it. Yesterday was National Law Enforcement Day across the nation. We have many members of our law enforcement community here this evening. We all wanted to say, we want to give you all a big shout out to all of our agencies that work every day to protect not just our students and staff and parents, but our entire Union County community. So we want to say thank you very much for what you do. We have some unbelievable partnerships with folks like Monroe PD and Waxhaw PD and the Sheriff's Department and Stallings PD. And without all of those entities, we could not do school as we know it today. So we want to say thank you and please know that we salute you and we appreciate you. And I'd like to maybe ask our members here, could we give our members of law enforcement a round of applause, please? January is also School Board Recognition Month. And I want to, again, commend our board. And as I look across the table, and Ms. Helms, I can see you through that phone. I just want to say it's an honor to work with each and every one of you. You're all individual assets to this community and great people and even better board members. So we wanted to all say thank you from our entire team for what you do. Parents, please listen up. We want you to join us on January 22nd at CATA and the 23rd at Weddington for a program called Raising Tech Healthy Families. These sessions will help you explore digital trends and strategies to support a tech healthy family. An expert will be here to show you kind of what's happening online, how you can keep up with your kids and all their social media interactions. You can check our Facebook account and our website for more details. But as I told our principals today, we all play a role in helping to educate our youth about the simple fact that whatever you put on your digital footprint stays there forever. And we want to encourage our kids to make good choices, but we also recognize that sometimes parents might not know how to effectively monitor or keep track of what their children are doing. So these are going to be 2 sessions that we hope parents and community members will attend, and we think it will add value, especially as we get close to more winter weather. So please come. And finally, I want to say congratulations to Mark Watson for being appointed as the new Union County Manager. We all look forward to working with you and your staff and to continuing the great work and partnership between Union County government and the school system. So, board members, this concludes my report.
Thank you very much. We will now have the strategic plan update by Dr. Breedlove and Jessica Garner.
Good evening. I'm going to share an update on the strategic theme A, which is to expand opportunities and support all levels for college and career readiness. And, oh, here it is. Thank you. So this initiative is around providing increased opportunities for students to earn high school and college dual credit through advanced placement and college and career promise, as well as earn industry certifications. So key accomplishments since I was before you last, we had increased participation in advanced placement in 2018. Our participation increased by 15%. 8 out of 10 of our schools saw an increase in the number of exams that were given. We also opened a College Readiness Resource Center. We have had, to date, we've had 151 families that have signed up to participate in this, and it's open at the public library. It's a partnership with them. They we offer sessions after hours. It's really the same thing that counselors do, but it provides an opportunity after hours for families who want their parents to attend with them, and on Saturdays. We held our first parent information sessions for college readiness. We had one session for 8th through 10th grade families and one for 11th and 12th grade families. We did that in conjunction with our Huntington Blitz for the SAT and ACT back in November. Had great turnout for the first session. And for the FAFSA, all of our high schools at this point have over 50% completion of the FAFSA. We have 6 schools that are actually over 60%, 3 are over 70%, and 1 is over 80%. So we're continuing to work on that and making progress. You have a handout in front of you that is our specific action items update that kind of lists our progress on all of the different action items. But I did want to highlight just 2 of those in particular. The first one is on the slide that you see, number 6. We are working with South Piedmont Community College to develop our MOU around the Career and College Promise program. So one of the things that we are working with them on is to streamline the application process a little bit for our students, to work with textbook costs and how often textbooks are renewed, align the school calendar and schedules a little bit to make it a little bit more flexible for our students. And we're also working to provide more communication about progress, student progress, between South Piedmont Community College and Union County. So that is a work in progress there. And then on the next piece, I wanted to highlight number 12. We are working, this is kind of exciting, I think. We are working with our Southwest RESA, which is a Regional Education Service Alliance. It's a group that works with 11 different districts in the region, and they are working with us to host an Advanced Placement Summit to support our advanced placement teachers. And we believe that we have teachers with great knowledge that need to share. And so this is going to be a regional event. We are working really closely with Iredell Statesville School and working through the high school job alike that the RESA holds. But we're going to be working with 8 different AP subject areas, and this is going to be held the last day of February and the first day of March. Iredell Statesville is actually going to host it in their facility, but we are going to get to send teachers to that. We are allocated a specific number of teachers based on our district size. So that's an exciting update. And then our next steps, we have launched an AP advisory committee working with our principals and some of our central office staff to figure out the best ways that we can increase the number of AP courses and then also the number of students that are taking AP classes. So that's something that we're brainstorming, we're working together, and we're trying to innovate in that area. We are working on developing our teachers. So we're working on the AP Excellence Academy. These teachers have access to a special program through College Board that provides them with additional curriculum and assessment resources, and also a way to collaborate not only with teachers in Union County, but also with teachers across the country who are teaching their AP subjects. And then we are looking to do some AP virtual mentoring in-house this year. The IB expansion discussion is continuing. Marvin Ridge is looking to recruit 9th graders this year for next year, as well as continue with their 11th grade diploma program. And then we're still continuing the conversation about and seeking interest for Porter Ridge for expansion. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
I have a question. Going back to the number 6 and the wonderful work or partnership that we have with South Piedmont Community College. A couple of months ago, we had a parent come speak to us, and I know that parent did have an opportunity to meet with Dr. Breedlove. I'm not sure if she met with anyone else, but I just want to get an update on where we are, because we do have such a wonderful opportunity for students who do want to earn college credit before they graduate. But what we learned is that some of our schools have different rules on what they're allowing the students within their building to do or not to do, and that some students in one high school, based on the principal's decision or guidance office, some students are getting more opportunity to get credit at South Piedmont than other students in other schools. So where are we on consistency that we are going to permit all students, regardless of which high school building they're under or report to get that opportunity at South Piedmont Community College and not have different rules at all of our different high schools?
Certainly. The one thing that we want to make sure that we do across the board in Union County Public Schools is making sure that all of our students have consistency, depending on no matter what school that they're in, that they would have access to those resources and those opportunities equally. And so we are having those discussions with principals. There is a committee that is working under Dr. Healy to address that issue and concern that was brought up at an earlier meeting this year. And so next year, yes, we will, working through our curriculum committee and then working through the board, have a plan for consistency across the board for the 2019-20 school year.
I really want to encourage that because I know in 2017, we had 2 students at Porter Ridge High School that earned enough credit hours as a Union County Public Schools student through South Piedmont that when they were accepted at Chapel Hill, they entered as juniors. And so I just want to ensure that all students in Union County are afforded the same opportunity to earn college credit and not be limited or told that this rule at our school that they can't achieve that and maybe earn a year or 2 of college for free.
Yes, ma'am.
I echo what Mrs. Merrill said. She and I were at a place a year ago, and I won't say where it was, where we were in a school, and some of the students didn't even know about it.
They didn't even know about that they could take classes.
And I know that we always feel like we constantly talk about it, which you do, but we need even more because they all looked at us in the room like, what?
I know that I know that you're correct. I think this year is one of the first times that in the fall, I believe, you can follow up on this, is we invite South Piedmont to actually come out to our high schools and have a conversation to market what they're doing and to talk about college and career promise. And I'm not sure consistently or historically is that has been a common practice, but we've invited them. They've come. I can't say if they've come to every high school this year. You're shaking your head, yes. But that is something that from feedback we got, we want to make sure our kids know this is a viable option for you.
I don't even think it's the kids, it's the parents as well.
Mm-hmm.
As we all know, high school students aren't really great about coming home and saying, oh, guess what I learned in high school today. So the more that we can get it out there to the parents as well, because we've talked to parents where they didn't realize that they realized SPCC was there, but they didn't realize that they could do it in school at the same time. So
it's an amazing program.
It really is an amazing program.
It's an amazing opportunity statewide. Not just our district and our partnership, although we're very fortunate to have South Piedmont and the leadership there. But I just want to ensure that there are not rules or the ability for a school to have a rule that a student is required to be on campus a certain amount of time in order to go to South Piedmont. If they've completed all of their high school requirements, they can spend all day at South Piedmont if they want to and get that credit and still be on the books at one of our schools. I don't think we should limit our students by saying, well, you have to be here a certain amount of time and you have to be there a certain amount of time. If they've met all their requirements, which means they probably could graduate early, but they choose not to because they want to continue their education, by all means, go to South Piedmont. And let's don't limit these students from the opportunity of taking however many classes they want to before they cross the stage in June.
Yes, ma'am. We hear you loud and clear, and we are working to address that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's difficult because it's difficult for the kids because the hours of our school don't. add up to their school. They're not the same. So it's difficult to say, well, you must be at high school for one block, and that one block may not, be equivalent to where their classes are at that time. So that's
Piedmont has.
Right.
Exactly. Sorry, Christina, go ahead.
Well, as a parent of a high school senior who has been doing dual enrollment for 2 years, this is an amazing program. Let me say that first and foremost. But second of all, if I wasn't on the Board of Education, I wouldn't have known about it because it was not promoted at my son's school. And like I said, just because I was a board member, I knew about it. There's a lot of friends of mine who they have no idea that this is even an option currently at our schools. You can meet with the students all day long, but until you send information home to the parent, a lot of that information gets lost in transit, if you will, between the student and the parents because, they're teenagers. So I'd like to see us do a better job reaching out to the parents to make the parents more aware that they can do dual enrollment. My son is at Piedmont all day. He doesn't go to South Piedmont at all. He's physically not at South Piedmont. He does his classes online, and he sits in the classroom at Piedmont High School. So it's not that they have to travel anywhere. They can do their classes at their home school if they're online, if they're able to access them that way. So it's an opportunity, but I would like to see a better outreach to the parents, not only to the students, but to the parents, because we made a collective decision as a family to say, okay, we think this is going to be the better route. That way you can get high school and college credit. He wasn't interested in taking the AP classes, but was interested in getting ahead in college in his general education. And, it's cut us back at least a semester, if not more, just for my son taking a few classes during his high school career. So I really encourage us to reach out more to parents, not only to the students, but to the parents, because like I said, we all know that have teenagers, a lot of stuff doesn't make it home.
I agree. The last thing I will add, and I appreciate all the board members' comment, the last piece that I would add is to make sure that our guidance counselors are trained on what our students can ask for and receive and not be told no, that they can't do that. Because I know that the parent volunteer who has become like a Union County advocate across over many schools. I mean, she probably needs to start her own business on advising Union County students, because I know many different high schools are directing students to her for advice on what to sign up and how to do this. But I encourage you to make sure that our guidance counselors are very well trained on saying yes and helping these students get the courses they want instead of being told no. Let's make sure all of our guidance counselors know how to do this and make it happen.
Yes, ma'am. And our partnership with South Piedmont Community College, I would say, is as strong now as it's ever been, and it will continue to grow. And that partnership works both ways. And so educating them on what students can receive credit for, dual credit, and that has also been an issue that we've been working with them. But they have been open, and it is a great partnership, and it will continue to get better so that we can be consistent across the board on what we are offering.
I agree. South Piedmont is phenomenal, but I think our 11 different guidance offices may not all be on the same page.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I do have a question. So just for clarity, South Piedmont, they may have or may have not been to all of the schools?
My understanding is they've been to all of the schools throughout the year thus far, and will continue to be a part of our schools, coming in, giving out information. I know that they've been at football games. They've been to when lunches are happening, they set up a table and students can come up and check out courses there, and even if they are juniors or seniors, and being able to take courses there as part of our dual enrollment program,
So our students,
not just after graduation.
So our students are aware of the program?
Yes. but we will continue to promote it. I say that there's always those chances where I didn't hear that, or you never know what the situation is, but the more that we promote it, the better we'll be.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Okay, we will now go to Mr. Jared McCraw to present the COPS grant, Community Oriented Policing Services.
So I'll kick this one off, Jared. So a few months ago, the town of Waxhaw approached us as a partner, or potential partner, along with law enforcement to talk about school safety. And you've got a copy of an MOU that's in your packet that delineates kind of what this grant is all about. But this is continuing our partnership efforts around school safety and security. On Tuesday night, I believe it was, the town of Waxhaw agreed to accept this grant. We are bringing forth this item for your vote tonight for action. And we've asked Jared and your delegation behind you to kind of go through and explain what the grant is all about, what we would receive, and what we're responsible for.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm joined tonight by Chief Mike Ice, the chief of the Waxhaw Police Department, Lieutenant Dex Wilson with Waxhaw Police Department, Sergeant Chad Coppage, he is sergeant with Union County Sheriff's Office, and Dr. Donga Meinhardt, he is the grant writer. So back in July, I was approached by Lieutenant Wilson, and he asked if I would be interested in partnering on a grant. I approached Dr. Houlihan and Mark Strickland at the time, and they both said, yes, if we can get money for safety and security initiatives, let's look at that. So Dr. Meinhardt is the grant writer, and he wrote the grant. We were notified in October 1st of 2018 that we did receive the grant. The grant total is for $498,000, $498,628. Grant recipients are responsible for 25% of the grant in-kind contribution. The town of Waxhaw did approve this at their meeting Tuesday night. They have clicked the button and accepted the grant. Waxhaw Police Department will look at a 300 degree. I thought it was 360, but they said you can't see behind you, so it's 300 degree Vitra training room. They will also make videos of 8 of our schools and be able to train on those schools specifically. Union County Schools will receive 3 items. Will receive up to $283,397 for the video doorbell, the airphone systems that we've already installed at 16 schools. So that is a good thing. We want to complete that at all of our middle and all of our high schools. We also will receive up to $30,000 for a Proofpoint social media threat evaluator. What that does, it looks for keywords when it comes to social media. It will notify law enforcement or somebody we choose that there could be a threat in our community. The third thing is a $36,435 for 2 years of a crisis management software. It would be an app that our administrators and our SROs could use in the event of an emergency. Union County Schools originally committed $125,558 to this grant. That would cover the 25% in-kind contribution for our portion of the grant, and would also cover the grant writer and his management of the grant. Are there any questions?
So we get about $350,000 worth of stuff for our 125,588 or whatever.
That is correct.
And Waxhaw gets about $150,000.
That is correct, Ms.
$140,000 for their 30,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We get approximately $350,000 for 125,558.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great, we're one of 93 counties across the country, according to Dr. Gemeinhardt, that got this. So it was very selective. I'm very proud of the partnership we have with our law enforcement community. Chief Elmore asked Sergeant Coppage to be here tonight. He is at a graduation for detention officers. He fully supports this. He said, if you get money for safety and security initiatives, it's a great thing.
And the MOU is with the Union County Sheriff's Office, the town of Waxhaw, the Waxhaw PD.
Yes, ma'am. The town of Waxhaw is the lead agency on the grant.
Okay.
Union County Schools and the Union County Sheriff's Office are partners on the grant.
Okay. So I move that we approve the COPS grant and the funding of up to $125,600,000 as our portion of the 25% in-kind contribution. Okay, is there any discussion? Any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none.
Thank you.
Motion passes and we thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the CAFR audit report for 2018 with our CFO, Shauna McClam.
Good evening, board members. I want to introduce Adam Shapirek. He's with Anderson, Smith & White. He's going to present our 2018 CAFR and audit fund. Audit.
Good evening. Mr. Strickland said that we were saving the best for last, the accounting report. So
we hope you've enjoyed our meeting.
That's right. The last 2 years have been interesting years from an auditor, finance department perspective. But usually what I end with, I want to begin with, and that is, through solid controls and good staff within the department allows for things to keep on rolling. Audits are still required every year in a timely manner. Paychecks still have to go out. Budgets still have to be presented. So through a good financial team in the actual offices doing the controls they've been trained to do and perform the services they're trained to perform, we're still able to come in and conduct a thorough audit and a timely audit and present these financial statements here for the year ended June 30, 2018. So again, starting where I like to end, I just wanted to put that out there. And you should have received 100 and some page comprehensive annual financial report that I'm going to try to point out a couple of numbers for you and kind of give you a basis summary of what it all means. So to start with, on page 1, actual number 1, not the Roman numeral 1, starts the financial section, and it starts with a audit opinion letter. And I'm here to tell you today it was a clean, unmodified opinion letter that we believe these financial statements accurately reflect the financial condition of the school system and the operations for the year ended June 30, 2018. So again, a clean audit opinion for the year ended June 30, 2018. So within this 100-page document, there's a lot of financial information, including about 15 to 20 pages of new information related to a new accounting standard. It is a big deal to us accountants and to the eggheads who make the rules for what financial statements should look like, but has nothing to do with how you budget or operate your school system. So your retirement system used to be that liability housed off books. You have employees that when they work their 30 years, they're entitled to health benefits and pension benefits for the rest of their lives. That liability has now been divvied up between all the individual school systems in that plan, and you're apportioned a $570 million liability for your portion of the pension plan. So we implemented that GASB within these financial statements, but it does not reflect on your financial condition in the terms of how you operate from day to day. You still pay about 19% retirement rate for every dollar of salary you pay. That won't change except for on an annual basis when it's reevaluated. And that rate of 19% used to be 6, 7, 8%. probably only going to go up from here on out, but it is used to cover the pension cost and that retirement health benefit. The retirement health benefit is an unfunded liability. So while individuals who retire here, there's a pension plan out there that is heavily funded. We've talked about this over the past few years through the GASB 68. But now with this GASB 75, that retirement health benefit, it's unfunded. The current year contributions go to pay the current year benefits. And this benefit has become so expensive that as of 2021, it's not going to be offered in the same format to employees hired after that date. So this is a huge thing statewide. It's a huge concern about compensation in the next 4 or 5 years, but it is on your books now in these financial statements to the tune of $500 million. So again, while that is important for us accountants, it doesn't change your fund balance, doesn't change how much money you're going to get from the state, federal government, local government every year. So that being said, if on the financial statements, exhibits 3 and 4 are the exhibits that show your funds, your cash on hand, your fund balance on hand, and it excludes things like your fixed assets, the value of your buildings, or the value of these retirement benefits. So one of the numbers I wanted to point out was your general unassigned fund balance of $5.5 billion as of June 30, 2018. That total, along with your restricted fund balance, gives you your total general fund balance of $6,162,000 for the end of the year. That $6,162,000 is $818,000 less than last year. You used $800,000 of fund balance this year. So in comparison, you actually increased fund balance by $470,000 the year before. So that $6 million of fund balance is my understanding going forward. You're looking at spending that through capital expenditures, would be transferred to capital outlay. So in years past, there have been initiatives like for training, for technology, where that fund balance has been assigned by management for future uses. In these financial statements, with the way that money is planned on being used in the forward, we're showing it as unassigned, all $5.5 million, and is ready and available to be spent or transferred in accordance with probably the budget that was just approved. So are there any questions on those numbers? Those are to me, that's the two most important numbers in these statements, that general fund balance and the usage of fund balance in the current year. All right.
Want me to wait? I have a question on the fund balance.
Yes, certainly.
In the notes in 2D, you talk about. Let me find it. Sorry. It talks about that we only have 5. What's the word?
No,
the state stabilization. What is that?
So the North Carolina laws are written to prevent you from ever spending money that you don't have in the bank, or to spend money that you've promised to somebody else. So in your year-end process of purchase orders, you have encumbered about $500,000. You also have receivables of $70,000.
Okay.
So that receivable is an asset, but it's not an asset you've collected yet, so you can't spend it yet.
Okay.
Those encumbrances are promises to spend money. They're not payables yet because the service hasn't been provided, but it's out there to vendors ready to be performed. So that money gets set aside and it's not able to be budgeted. So you can't over transfer money and end up without money in the bank to spend on those encumbrances.
Gotcha.
So the other important exhibits 7 and 8, these are the same balance sheet and income statements, but they're for your business activities, your school food service fund and your after school care program. Now, I told you that that Gabbis B75 had nothing to do with fund balance, and that's true for governmental activities. But business activities, they actually have to record that liability. They'll never pay it in the same way that they pay their liabilities to Cisco or Mayola, but it's still on the books. They're business activities. They are treated like a business and not like a governmental entity. So now you look at these statements and the fund balance is negative. Well, fortunately, fund balance was really never the driver for school food service. All the federal regulations, they all look at the cash on hand, working capital. So while your net position is negative $5.8 million in school food service and negative $2.3 million in after school, you still have $6.2 million in the bank for school food service and $2.1 million in the bank for after school program.
We lost money on both of them.
But you did. And so instead of looking at the balance sheet and income statement, or if you want to look at the balance sheet, look at the cash number, there's a cash flow statement provided on Exhibit 9. Right there in the middle of the exhibit, you can see that you used $372,000 in the current year for school food service. The June 30th comes and goes every year, and you're probably in the same position. There's some timing of receivables and payables that might change, but cash is a good indicator when you close school and are on June 30, your cash position is a good indicator of how you did comparative to the year before. So sitting with negative, using $372,000 of cash, still having $6.2 million in the bank, that perfectly, acceptable financial strength there. But now I will say that is a slight decline from the year before. That fund has been adding cash over the years, but this year it used $370,000 of cash. And there are pricing pressures. There are salary
this
costs.
Year we've had a lot
you've had years of required mandated state salary increases on top of retirement expense increases and healthcare costs. So there's some drivers that you're no longer funding the cost of every meal for every meal that you sell. And now when all of your food really is sold on a plate rather than on a supplemental sale, it makes it a lot harder to operate as a profit. So your district has always been in the black, even when we've seen a trend of losses around the state. But this year, you're in the same boat everywhere else is. And the costs, a lot of it's salary driven, is
and cost of goods too.
Yep.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. So the other thing in the audit report, the compliance section in the back, the audit opinion on page 1 is in reference to the financial statements. The compliance section has 2 more opinion letters and a letter on internal controls. The 2 opinion letters for compliance state that we believe, and we noted no instances of you not spending state and federal dollars in compliance with the major programs that we audited. So again, those are 2 clean opinion letters stating that we believe you're in compliance on your state grants that we audited and federal grants that we audited as major. And then again, where I began, the letter on internal controls, we did not note any deficiencies in internal controls that we thought were significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in this control structure on how financial statements are presented, how finances are conducted, and how compliance is maintained. So all in all, again, a clean audit opinion.
Do you test internal controls, or you do? Okay.
Yeah, we through walking through the actual controls, walking through an invoice from start to finish, from PO to check writing, and then also a sampling of countless paychecks, countless vendor invoices, making sure that all of those pre-audits are conducted, salaries are all in agreement, coded correctly, in line with budget. All that is part of our audit procedure. procedures. And
it's just not an opinion on internal controls. It's part of it, audit procedures that tell you there's no material weaknesses or significant.
That's right. I'm giving you a 100-page binder, and I've got 5 that are 3 times as thick.
Oh, I can imagine, right?
That we look at in-depth document detail and from higher level. You know, these internal control walkthroughs in narrative type formats. So, you know, those are high level looks at internal controls as well as testing of details. And again, a lot of that stuff is in place at the staffing level, at the process level, and you know, being a district with a budget your size, you have to have those controls in place.
I agree.
And if you weren't or didn't, we've seen in the last couple of years of districts how quickly it could go from good to bad. And we are involved in several districts that just a couple of years of bad management or bad controls or bad decisions, and fund balance numbers and usage of fund balance, they're tight all over, and it's real hard to recover from some bad decisions. So
that's great. No material weaknesses and significant deficiencies. It's huge.
And my number is at the bottom of all of these opinion letters. We do school audits year round. I take questions whenever. It's a direct line. My email, Shauna has that. I'm happy to answer any questions about these financial statements. Give many little accounting classes. You don't get college credit for them, but I find them interesting. So.
From my standpoint, it's, if you want to read the MD&A is important because it kind of gives you an overview, a picture of where we were year over year and where we kind of are now. So it
does. And, it does. And unfortunately, though, that MD&A, I have to incorporate that pension liability, and it really skews how you do fund balance wise compared to how you do all total assets, total liabilities wise. And that's why the statements I point out, the MD&A is good to read. The statements, though, are the fund statements. Those are the key. All right. Thank you.
Okay, that brings us, board, to closed session decisions.
I move that we approve the personnel agenda and the personnel addendums.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, 7-1, the motion passes. Okay, we will now have board comments.
I want to thank Shauna for jumping in and helping out with the audit and getting everything prepared for this evening. Where'd she go? I don't know where she is anymore. Oh, she did. Okay. So, and for her entire staff, because that's awesome. No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So we appreciate that. You missed my compliments, but my compliments to you and your staff for the audit report. Thank you very much. And I know I don't have my mic on, sorry.
I want to thank our speakers that joined us tonight for public comments, particularly Mrs. Sandoval, who brought a lot of information and spoke towards Say Something for the week of February 25th. And with those comments, I just want to remind all of our parents and your students to remember that UCPS has a mobile app with an anonymous tip line that if you see something and you don't feel comfortable having a face-to-face interaction, or you don't want to be singled out at school with administration or your peers, please use the UCPS mobile app. And our staff has taken it one step further and put a quick link on our student laptops, because all of our middle school and high school students have a device, a UCPS device, And because it may or may not be appropriate to pull out your cell phone in the middle of class and get in trouble, our staff was acted quickly to get a quick link added to our home screen at our board's request. That was done very quickly, so thank you. So our students also have that quick link now right there on their student device when they're sitting in a classroom. So I am often surprised. Tyra, how long have we had this mobile app now? About 2 years. That's what I was thinking. And I'm sure many board members, we get a lot of parent phone calls, and almost never do the parents realize we have an anonymous tip line on that mobile app. So I just want to encourage anyone in this room and listening from home for parents to get that mobile app, to encourage your students to have the mobile app. My husband personally enjoys the mobile app because he can keep up with Union County Public School sports. So you can do that too. But please know we have an anonymous tip line. Please use it and encourage and teach your children to use it. And that is all I have for tonight. Any other board comments? Hearing none, we will move to announcements.
There'll be a facilities committee meeting on January 16th. We still don't know a time yet, whether it's 8 or 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. at the PDC, and a finance committee meeting on the 24th at 8 a.m. at the PDC.
The 24th.
24th.
And we have a SPIT committee meeting set for the 23rd at 7:30 a.m.
The curriculum committee meeting will meet January 31st at 8:30.
Yes, policy. 23rd. Policy will be January 23rd at 9, because policy got the memo to have it after 8 or 8:30. So any other comments or announcements? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, board. Thank you, Christina.